Hello, how are you doing? So I thought I was going to do something a little bit different. And I thought, wouldn't it be quite cool if I interviewed myself? And by the way, my my fire alarm got fixed today. So you will no longer hear a beeping sound in my flat any longer. And that's been going on for 12 months. So I'm missing it. I'm missing it tonight because sometimes when I would have this amazing idea, it would go and beep as if it was like a ping, ping, ping. So I'm kind of missing it. I'm missing my old buddy now. The little beeping, annoying little bastard that it was. Anyway, so I thought to myself, how could we maybe do something different with the GOBCast? And I thought, well, look, why don't I interview myself, ask myself a few hard-hitting questions regarding my Facebook page and where I think we're up to and, what I've learned. And, because we're coming up now to 12 months, because it would have been March the 11th when I started this, although it did actually start in Christmas 2008, but there was a gap, there was a period of time where I didn't write anything up until March the 11th when Homemade Rehab started. So it's been quite a trip, hasn't it? It's been quite a trip. And I think anybody that's followed me since Christmas 2018, when I was abandoned in my flat and I recorded a Christmas video, which was saying Happy Christmas to everyone and thank you to all my Facebook friends for the messages of support and reaching out to me and helping me, when I just needed some love. Because I wasn't getting very much of it. And I'd been through a traumatic, horrible, terrible time. And, and it wasn't going to get any better for me. And it certainly didn't, because I ended up getting sectioned. So, and then I was left there for 9 days. So it wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time for me, and it wasn't a good time for my family and our family relations. But, time is a healer. And, and I've already repeatedly said on my Facebook page, that I forgive and that I forget. And, I've put lots and lots and lots and lots of positives in for about many, 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 many people and situations. And I've tried to really look into, for example, when I talked about being a bullied child, I looked into the reasons that might have happened with my mum and dad and why this situation occurred. I'm not pointing the blame at people, but the fact is that I was bullied, and and we'll all know. No one gives me any credit, for saying that, but it's a fact. I wouldn't have had the issues and the problems that I've had if it wasn't for the fact that I was bullied and that I was gay. Categorically. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, aren't I? So what I thought I'd do is I'd launch into my questions. So I've already typed the questions. So I'm just going to ask myself the first question. And this is, where's my memo pad? Where is it gone? Oh, there it is. God, I'd be lost without this memo pad. Honestly, my writing, what I put on my Facebook page, you might think is quite a lot. You don't get to see what all the stuff that I'm writing that doesn't get published. Honestly, there's reams of the stuff. There's absolutely loads of it. There's loads of stories that I've been writing that I've never published. And it's all in this memo and all in my voice notes as well. I've got loads and loads and loads of voice notes. Brilliant voice notes, actually, that really should see a little bit of see the light of day, I think, because they are good, because I've listened to a few of them back and they're quite entertaining. So anyway, I was quite pleased with them. Anyway, I'm again going off on a tangent, aren't I? And do you know the reason why I'm doing that? That is because I'm doing spontaneous narration. And that is generally when I go into a meditative state. And basically, it's my rolling thoughts. I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I can't remember half the time what I'm saying. But it's just my rolling thoughts coming out and I'm just publishing it. And then I have a good listen back and think, oh my God, did I really say that? Oh my word, have I really done that? And the answer is usually, yes, Dan, you have. You have done that. And nobody can believe that you've done that either. And you are in deep trouble now. And that has been kind of like the snowball effect that's been going on over the past few months, which dramatically saw me getting sectioned throughout the whole of December by 12 coppers coming in arms, dragging me out my flat because I was having a god psychosis. I thought it was quite... No, it wasn't. It was fucking hell. I don't know even why I even was going to say that it was funny. There was nothing funny about it. Absolutely nothing funny about it. Seriously, it's making me shake even thinking about it. It was a joke, an absolute joke. And to keep me there for 28 days and through Christmas, I could have seen my family. I said to them, we're already, quite fragile, our relationships at the moment. It'd be good if I could see them at Christmas. But no, they wouldn't have any of it. And you can hear from my GOBCast too. That was on day 10. That is a perfectly lucid, silver-tongued, youngish man that's created that GOBCast. It doesn't sound like somebody who needs to be banged up in a mental hospital for a further 20 days. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, let's get this first question out of the way. So the first question that I was going to ask myself is, do you have any regrets whatsoever about your Facebook page? My biggest regret is that it's upset quite so many people. It certainly was not my intention when I set out to do this project, to live my mental health life out online and to use Facebook as my therapy, because I ran out of money. I didn't have any choice. And so I was using conscious writing as a form of therapy and publishing it. And that was because the reason I was publishing it was because I was trying to get a viral hit, so people talking, get a buzz around my pages, so that I could get a viral hit to then go on to improve mental health services, ride into Boris Johnson's office on a wave of online publicity, and basically get some of the 15 points implemented, because there's no reason why some of those points couldn't be implemented and actually been done quite quickly and quite cost effectively. And I think it's something that certainly I look at and I think that's not unreasonable, the things that I'm suggesting here. Changing the menus in mental health hospitals so that it's foods that nourish the brain. That is not rocket science. It's the same with the police and getting mental health first aid training for all frontline police officers. Yes, absolutely. Because the police are terrible when it comes to mental health. Absolutely terrible when it comes to it. I would say that based on all of the coppers that have been around me, and I've been swarmed by them big time, I would say 1 in 20 is my estimate of who would be good or understood how to deal with somebody with a mental health condition correctly, okay? That's something that they just don't do. So, I regret that I've caused a lot of tears, and I regret that I have strained relationships that perhaps didn't need to be strained. And it wasn't done intentionally, but I am a very proud man, and my work is very, very important to me. And yes, I have lost my job. Well, I took voluntary redundancy, but I was forced. So, but I decided that when I was being sectioned, when you lose everything, you realise you've got nothing more to lose and a lot more to give. And that's how I felt about it. And actually, that was when I started to become my most creative, when I felt that I had nothing more to lose. So I could be as creative as I wanted to be. I could be blue sky thinking, which is what I am very much. Always thinking blue sky and big picture and, and all the big projects. And I can visualize things and I can see how it's going to work and pull together. And that's why I thought this campaign would work. I genuinely thought it would work. And I thought the power of my storytelling would be the thing that created the viral hit. Now, when I say viral hit, I'm not meaning like just some little flash in the pan or something like that. I don't mean that, that's here today, gone tomorrow. What I mean is that as a viral hit is significant buzz around my Facebook pages and around my website pages. That is what I would consider to be a viral hit, is that the majority of the UK population get to know or understand what my proposals are for the 15 points to improving mental health services in the UK. They might not agree with all of them. They might think some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them need chucking out altogether. That's fair enough, absolutely fair enough. And everybody's open, and that's why they're on Facebook, so we can have conversations and we can discuss, what you think about these points. But I think that, there's certainly ones that are ticking a lot of people's boxes. And so, we've just got to, take a look at the video again. I would say if you haven't watched my 15 points to improving mental health video, please do watch it, because it is informative. And obviously I've not gone and broken down into all the cost savings and masses and detail, but I've given you an overview, and I can give you more detailed plans, that I've drawn up around that. And that does look into finance and how actually, we could save significantly with my ideas and, and my proposals. So in order to create a sweeping change like that, it needs to feel like a revolution. And that's why I've always called it a mental health revolution, because it really would be doing something completely different, just giving it a real twist. And I think that it could make us world leaders. I think it could make us world leaders in mental health. And I think we would be the envy of the world. I really do. If we get it right, then I do. And I tell you one thing that would get it right is for bigotry to stop. Bigotry must stop. Because if we can get rid of this bigotry at the levels that it's currently at, honestly, it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. People who think they aren't bigots and don't even realise, because they've just got, when they hear mental health, they just have a shudder of bigotry that runs all the way through them, and we're all guilty of it. I must honestly say that I have never, ever, ever thought anything more about anything if somebody said to me they had a mental health condition. It was like when somebody's told me they were a heroin addict. I went, right? And I said, well, do you still want to work with me? I said, well, you're not going to be doing it here, are you? And he was like, well, no, of course I wouldn't. No. I said, and as long as you can do your job and you can perform and, and you're not taking it anyway, because he was in recovery. And so I was like, yeah, no, it's totally fine. So, and he was used to people turning their back on him. And I'm just not used to that. I've never been like that with, I believe in diversity and I believe in giving people a second chance. Most definitely I do. So do I regret anything? I've explained about the tears, that I do regret that. And I do regret the upset that I've caused my mother, definitely. I do regret that because I know that she has been, deeply upset. And she's not perfect, but then neither am I. And so I recognise that some of the writing, it was very raw and it was very from the heart. And also, when I started to write about being a bullied child was slightly later on, and it was after my mother and I had done homemade rehab. And I felt like I was a bit abandoned after homemade rehab because I never saw my mum again after that. And then I was living off statutory sick pay, so I had to lose all my team. So all of a sudden, I lost my mum, I lost my team, I lost, like people being around me, helping me. And that was because of this stupid delay with the BBC where they took an extra 5 weeks to get me back into work because they went and forgot to send some forms off, and that cost me all that. I had to lose all of that. And so it kind of grew and grew and grew, the kind of resentment that I felt that I was on my own, because it was, we're going through recovery is quite a difficult thing. It is a very difficult thing. And I did feel like I was very on my own. And so the less I heard from my mum, and I think, the more she was distancing herself because of the Facebook page, then the more raw my emotions were becoming when I was writing these stories. But I do think that I was reading them again this evening, the Psychosis shorts. And if you haven't read Psychosis shorts, please do give them a try, because I went over them again this evening and I thought they're very well written, some of these. Not all of them. There are definitely, obviously, grammatical errors and there's typos, and I do voice-to-text dictation. But on the whole, I think they're very strong. There's some really good content in there. And especially Psychosis Shorts Part 1, I'm very proud of that. And I'm also very proud of the scenes where I talk about Auntie Maisie and going into the mental hospital and describing what it was like. And, when we saw Auntie Maisie and how she got so upset when we were leaving, and, the rain hammering down on these huge, huge windows, just grey, looking out, just grey, and Auntie Maisie's tears just rolling down her face. And I can still see it, and I can still see the level of detail. And yeah, gosh, it was so, so emotional. And so I'm very proud of the way that I pulled that scene together. So you'll see, I do tell you little stories, I go off on tangents, I digress, but that's because it's all conscious writing. So I'm just hoping that there is a coherent thread. And sometimes I don't finish off a story, but you will notice that I can jump to it at a later date and finish it off. So I will point out where that's occurred. But that's the genius of my Facebook page, is that I wanted to write my life story, but I didn't want to write a book. I wanted to write a Facebook, because I do like Facebook. I like the fact that you can have the longer updates. I love the fact you can have the coloured blocks, but you're only allowed a certain number of characters within the blocks. That's good practice for me, because that keeps it short. So I do a lot of short updates. I do long form, I do short form, I do audio, I've done video, I do pictures. I really try to vary it up so that I can get this viral hit and keep people engaged, because that's important. I know I've got to keep you engaged. So every day I'm thinking, right, how do I keep everybody on there? How am I going to keep everybody happy there? How am I going to do that one there? And so I'm always trying to think of creative ideas so that I can keep people interested in my work. Because obviously it might be a bit of a long slog, this viral hit. And so far it's proved to be, because it's been 10 months. And I'm back to square one again now. Facebook pulled my bloody Brain Health UK Facebook page down. It's gone to appeal. I'm hoping that I'll get it back, but I don't think I will. So that's gone. So that's a shame. So I regret, that's something I regret, is I regret the fact that page has gone, because the Brain Health UK page, although I would be devastated if they'd pull down my Dan Foster personal page, because the body of work that I've put together and the storytelling that I've put together is immense, and there's so much of it, and some of it I've had to put to private, which I'm going to put to public again now, which I can do because I've left the BBC, so I'll put it back to public. So yeah, that's that. So let me have a look what the next question was. I hope that answered that question about, let me bring the memo up. Okay. Next question. Do you feel like you should have scored a viral hit by now? Yes, I do. And that's because I know what I have been through, and I know the hell that I have been through with this Facebook page in order to create content for it, in order to tell stories, in order to create stories for you guys, so that in real time there's stuff that's happening. And you know, it's been a roller coaster with my Facebook page. It's been shocking, controversial, it's been uncomfortable, it's been funny, it's been sad, it's been tearful, it's been insightful, it's been informative, it's been jaw-dropping, it's been all sorts of stuff. I remember Max, my good friend, saying to me that he just, sometimes he can't even look because he just doesn't know where it's going to go next and what's going to happen next. And then it all crescendoed into this massive dramatic moment where I get sensationally, dramatically sectioned. And that was in December. And then held in this faggy, shitty, grovelly, dirty, place for 28 days with absolutely nothing, repeat, nothing to do. And I got my leave taken off me because I just came home. I'd had enough of it. I didn't want to sleep on them manky beds anymore. So I just wanted my own bed. I just wanted to come home. So I did twice. So I got all my leave taken off me, and that was over Christmas, the bastards. Honestly. So, yes, I do think that I should have got a viral hit just on the basis of how much energy, effort, and heart and soul that I've put into this to try and get this viral hit and to come up with all these creative campaigns and ideas. I also think that no one's done anything like this before that's, really tried in this way. And also the way that I talk about mental health, the way that I write about mental health, I think it seems to be connecting with people as well, and connecting with people in a good way, in the way that I wanted it to. So that's really nice. So I'm ticking a lot of boxes where I think by now, surely I should have got a little bit of a bigger following going on. And don't get me wrong, I'm really grateful for the followers that I do have. And I've really enjoyed actually meeting and getting to know some of you and chatting online. So thank you. And I really have appreciated like people like Rome, Wilma, who's been sharing lots of my content. There's loads of you that have been, and I really appreciate it. And I do notice it, because I get all my notifications come through on my phone, and I do check them all because I've got to be across everything from my analytics to my creatives to the graphics to the videos to I've got to create everything, including my own audio content, my own written content. I'm just a one-man band trying to keep it all going and try and get the revolution up and running. But my friend Jay's come on board, hopefully, to help me out. So he's going to be working on Instagram and Twitter for me, because I just thought it'd be good to have a backup so that if it goes wrong again with Facebook, which I hope it doesn't, then I won't lose everything and have to start from scratch again. Because you know me, I don't give up. I don't give up. So this will continue until I improve mental health services in the UK. And so that's what will continue to happen. I will just keep working and working and working. Obviously, I'm going to have, paid work as well. And I am worried about that. I am nervous. Because, I'm nervous about going back into an office environment to begin with, because I'm not used to it. I've been out, for quite some time now, and just being around people again. But I do want it as well, because I like the buzz, that you get, especially when you're around creatives. You can have a really good time, and you can bounce some fantastic ideas and have some wonderful meetings, development meetings, and like I used to have at the BBC, some really great creative facilitation sessions that they used to run on lunchtimes that I used to go and volunteer myself to go down and give as much creative thinking as I possibly could. But yeah, I do miss that. And I'm very lucky that Cat Lewis, the wonderful, wonderful Cat Lewis, from Nine Lives Media, the superb, brilliant, amazing production house, Nine Lives Media. I can't sing the praises enough. Has said that I can go in and volunteer and use some office space and do my own thing as well, so that it would help me to, re-establish myself sort of like back in the office and just find my feet again. And how lovely is that? For somebody to do that. And Kat doesn't know me that well, although we have got to know each other quite well over the past few months, because we've texted a lot and we've kept in touch, and she's brilliant. She's a brilliant friend, and I appreciate everything that she's done for me. And so I hope that I've answered that question. Let me have a look. Yes, I think I should have had my viral hit by now. And I also think the power of the storytelling. There's been so many stories real-time stories that I've been telling you that I think are quite thrilling, especially all the BBC Gate stuff. That was quite thrilling. And then getting sectioned and all that palaver and all the fallout from that. There's been a lot of thrilling things that have gone on in my life on this Facebook page. It's got a life of its own. Honestly, it has. Okay, next question. Do you feel frustrated that your work isn't being found correctly and therefore misunderstood? So I think that the easiest way, because somebody said, well, it's a lot to wade through. I would say go onto the timeline on my personal Facebook page and go back to Christmas 2018. I think you can actually select it on your timeline quite easily to go back to Christmas 2018. And I would just recommend reading from there, because my posts are like pages of a book. And the comments fields are what I call my DVD extras. So it might be where I give a bit more insight into the story, or we could be continuing the conversation of the story that's above, or it could just be a side story that I've set up. Like when I was trying to get Vera Redmond to understand how to share. And eventually I managed to teach her, and then she was sharing like mad for me. So I really appreciate you doing that, Vera. So thank you very much. It was fantastic. So, I've had some good laughs as well. It's been really nice to reconnect with old school friends, like Lynn Bennett. It's been great to hear Emma Bradley, Rebecca Mills, Gemma. I was going to say Gemma Ford. No, Gemma Ford. That was when we were at school, wasn't it? And Vicky and all the rest of it. And it's been really nice to reconnect with those guys and have dialogue with them properly. And and actually it makes me realise just how many of us have had a mental health condition, when we all and actually how brave people have been more open about it. Most definitely. I think definitely around depression they are. Definitely. With psychosis, it's different. And, it is different, and, people do think of it differently. But I honestly believe that we can change the way that we are. We don't need years and years and years and millions and millions and millions of pounds being ploughed into teaching us not to be bigots. We just need to change. We just need to change our attitudes. And we need to educate ourselves a little bit more. That's all. And I can help you with that. And so that's why I think that I can reduce bigotry significantly in this country. So that's something else that I can offer. And if I am connecting with people through my writing and through my spoken word, then I would say that it's a really good opportunity to, be grabbing me and saying, right, we see that he's connecting with people with these two things. He might be the person who could help sort out bigotry, because he might be able to connect with people and point out to it why it's wrong and what they should be doing instead in the future. And they'll listen to him because he's connecting to them. Do you see how it's working? So what was the next question that I set myself? I quite like this. It's quite exciting. So... yes, and I was just to recap with that question. I guess when people would look at my page and they would just dismiss it and think it looks like a car crash because they don't understand it or the way that it's been pulled together. There will be things that people don't understand, but then there's going to be moments of massive creative genius. I promise you. I've sprinkled magic dust all over it, and anybody that goes through it and gives it the time that it deserves and actually sees it as a piece of art and a piece of literature, sees it as a piece of literature, a proper book, because it's a Facebook. And that's how I decided to write my book and to make it public and to make it, because I wanted to share my story to help others, especially around homemade rehab and about the model that I had for that. And so, and then obviously around mental health and bigotry, I think it's been really important for me to share my story and to get it out to people. And hopefully it has connected, and I wanted it to. And that's why I've been developing this style of writing. I've been developing my style of audio, so that I aren't going, I'm doing it now, but I'm just going, all of a sudden. But a long, natural flow of conversation that was nicely toned, at a certain pitch. And so, I've spent a lot of time, developing and working on technique in order to be able to put these together and to do these sorts of things. Because effectively, I've been speaking now for 30 minutes non-stop. And yet I think hopefully I've made a lot of sense and it's been very coherent. So did we have one last question? I think we maybe did. And the question is, did you mean your apology? A Facebook punter said it was insincere. Yes, there was somebody who came on and said that my apology was insincere, and I think that anybody that listens to that apology will know that I apologise around 3 times. You'll also notice that on my Facebook pages, I have apologised as well. I've apologised in writing, I've apologised in subtitles, I've apologised in written form, spoken form, I've done as much as I possibly can do. I boosted the posts so that it went out to thousands and thousands and thousands of news feeds so that people saw this apology. And so I've done that. And, but I am a good guy. If I've upset people, I will apologise for upsetting people. I didn't mean to. But, because this really was always done with the very, very best of intentions. It was always to improve mental health services in the UK. That was my plan. It was my goal. That was what I developed. And this was the core part of my development, that I would live my mental health life out online. And I've stuck to that. Even when it's got me into trouble, I've stuck to it religiously, because that's what I'm like. I'm a proud man. My work is important to me and I wanted to see it through. There will have to come a time when I can't continue like this because I can't volunteer my time, as much, and I will need to get paid work. But hopefully I'll get my viral hit before then. Get my viral hit, and then we can start getting some of Brain Health UK into gear. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you at that. But I just thought it was a little bit different to ask myself questions about the viral hit. But it's really nice to get to know some of you, and thank you so much. All the people that have been liking the page. I think there's about 130 of you now that have been liking and also signing up at the website. So just inputting your email address into my website. The first 100 people I'm going to give limited badges to. So these are badges that I've designed. So who knows? Who knows? They may be worth something one day. So it's worth signing up to my website and being one of the first 100. So, right, I'm definitely going to go now. But all have a lovely day, whatever you're doing, or a lovely evening, whenever you're listening to this. But lots of love, and I will speak to you again soon. See you later.